And then they're like, oh, holy shit, is that me? I love that. I got photos from him when he was like 180 pounds. The guy's like 250 now.
Do you prefer to work with specific clients, like only professionals?
Photos that I deliver, they need to say what.
Today in Empire is the Way, I got my friend Suraka, over 15 years of professional photography. He's been in the baddest of the baddest shows, IFBB Pro, MPC, Arnold. He knows some things we don't know nothing about, but especially he is a professional photographer taking care of some of the biggest names. So brother, I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, for having me.
Absolutely, man.
Hey, we've been seeing each other for a while.
For a bit, yeah. I actually met you in Elevation.
No, Iron Addicts.
That's right.
That's when we started seeing each other. Then we connected in
Elevation. Yes, I just ate my word.
Yeah.
I was telling Angel, because I had Angel on the pod, and I was telling him, I'm like, bro, the last day of Iron Addicts, I'm walking into the gym with my bag, and as I'm walking in, I'm like looking to the side, and I'm seeing the detectives with trucks unloading all the equipment. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
You know,
I was walking in as they were taking all the shit.
You know what I was doing when this was going on? I was in my shower getting ready to go to a photo shoot at Iron Addicts. And I see the Angel, because I think Angel was living right across. He did a video with all the lights and everything. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I was like, thank God I didn't even go.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, well, let me go somewhere else now. I didn't know what happened.
No, it took everybody by surprise because that gym was cool.
Yeah. How do you like Elevation, bro? Like as far as the gym, the presentation? I've seen you shoot a lot there.
I mean, that's my brother's Angel's gym. No, I love it. Let me tell you, the only gym that I know that you go in and you feel like everybody's 3 days from stepping on stage is Elevation. Sometimes I walk in to do a shoot,
right,
and I'm like, what the fuck? Everybody's jacked here, man. And everybody's serious doing their thing. It's different from when you go to another gym. There's a couple of guys that are jacked, and then there's regular Joes. This thing, there has days or hours that everybody looks like they're in a show.
Yeah. And you would know that because you've been in. How many shows have you been in? Like
since 2010, bro, 300-400 shows maybe. I mean, rough, because I literally did the tour for 6 years, 5-6 years. I did every show, and I'm not talking about just go to the show. I was shooting the show, pre-judging, and finals for every show. And then the day before registration, I was there. So I saw the faces. You know, the coolest thing of what I have done or my career is that I've seen most of the guys be an amateur, see them win and climb, become a pro, and then see them win the Olympia, for example. Many. Like all the guys that you see now, I saw them when they were amateur. And I have photos of them. Even I have guys that are known now that I'm like, holy shit, what? I got photos from him when he was like 180 pounds. The guy's like 250 now.
Wow.
And he won his first show in the Arnold. Imagine, I've been going to the Arnold since 2014 or 13. That's when they did the last show at the Veterans. It wasn't in the convention center. They did it at a theater. But it got so big that year was the last one, and then they went to the convention. So I saw all that. I saw Arnold with dark hair, white hair, yellow. Like, I've seen I have photos of Arnold every year. So I could tell the difference, like how he's been aging.
He's there every year, though.
He's there every year. And same thing, walking around, saying hello, saying the same lines.
So I've had some really good fitness. Well, I've had friends in the industry compete, fitness people who are really, they're trainers and stuff like that. But it's curious to see what it is from behind the scenes, because you're pretty much, you see, like when you say you go to a show and you do the before, during, and after, right?
Yeah.
So a show, what is it, like a convention? Like is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of?
It depends. For example, a New York Pro is Friday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Friday is registration, and you meet the pros, and then Saturday they do the prejudging, and in the night you know who won. But when you do the Arnold or Olympia, it's a couple of days. There's so many athletes, and they break it down. Now there's more categories. There was, they do Friday, they do wellness and figure and men's to 12, I think it is. And then for Saturday, they leave bikini, men's physique, and the big boys.
So you get there, you get there like a day before, and you kind of like prepare, or what? Like,
I get there like a day or two before, because depends. We're talking about now when I used to work at the shows. Like I would shoot for Muscular Development or MD Latino or a brand, whatever. That's different. Now I get there before because I do photo shoots. Everybody, I mean, that physique that you present on Saturday, you won't see it again. So you compete Saturday, everybody wants to shoot on Sunday. In some cases, because I can't shoot everybody on Sunday, I shoot people 2 days before, and it works out because they're in pretty good shape too. And that's how things go.
Yeah. So you've been shooting the professional scene 2010, so to speak.
2010, I consider that when I started my professional career as a photographer.
Prior to that, so like everybody knows the Suraka name as far as like photography, man. You can see your Instagram, you see the most professional photography, and I think you were mentioning you like to do very close-up portrait type style.
Yeah.
But prior to that, like how did you get into the game? Like how did
I mean, I started doing photography early, but not as a professional. I like photography. I would go to the beach. I would do this. I would travel and take some photos. But it wasn't until I went to I did fashion photography first. And I did weddings because that's what I had access to. I'm from Dominican Republic. And bodybuilding, there was a culture of bodybuilding, but it was like underground. It was never in a hotel. It was like in some little venue that you didn't want to go. Plastic chairs, that kind of stuff. And a lot of people weren't into it because they saw it as a ghetto thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was like taboo. It was like
yeah. Like if you did that, you're dumb, and it wasn't even as big in the world yet. Remember, we had the Olympia for a long time. But there was a time, it was on TV, and then all of a sudden disappeared. Like you had to be a bodybuilder in the culture to know about fitness. I remember when I started doing my first tours in 2010, 2011, I would speak to my friends, and they were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Because fitness was a $10 million industry. Now fitness is a $200 billion industry.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody and their mother are in a gym training. Before it wasn't like that. Before it was 3 freaks at the gym or 3 old people trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
That's all you saw. Now there's a whole culture, what you eat, what works, what doesn't work. I remember I was in pretty good shape when, between 20 and 30. And I remember the way we gained weight was just eat crap, blah, 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 and hit it hard. That's it. And the way you cut is potatoes and chicken breast. Then we started learning that sweet potato was better. That you're not supposed to eat crap. You're supposed to eat good, carbohydrates and in increments and measure. But it wasn't like that before.
When you see the bodybuilders pack up their meals and be very like timely with their
I saw that in the late 2010 2000 when I started, but before people weren't like that, have their bag with their food.
No,
they just stop at the first sandwicheria and get 3 sandwiches or 5 burgers, and woo, You know, yeah, because all we knew that we needed to get to a certain weight, but the quality wasn't there. The science wasn't there.
You were raised in the Dominican Republic or no?
I was born and raised.
Born and raised, and then you moved out here when?
I moved out here in 2010.
2010. Okay.
Yeah, when I wanted to take my photography to the next level, in the sense that over there, there was no. I mean, I couldn't charge what I charge now. There was 3 people that I could shoot, you know, and over here the doors opened, and I was finally seeing the people who would buy magazines. I was seeing all those athletes because I used to buy the magazine every month. I used to buy Muscular Development, Flex magazine. There were a few others. Every magazine of bodybuilding I used to buy, and I used to see what they were taking. Animal Pack, Cybergenics. I don't know if you remember those brands.
Cybergenics, yeah.
Bro, there was these things that were 20 pills that you had to take. Taste terrible. But and Joe Weider, the weight gainer, 2,500 calories with chunks of stuff inside. When you put it in a blender, the shit would choke. But and I see how everything has changed. You know, the powder is different, the products are different. Who had pre-workout before? Nobody had pre-workout. That didn't exist. You took ephedrina or ginseng or something that makes you. They used to sell the caffeine capsules. You take straight up caffeine just to have energy.
Just have a little jittery.
Yeah, to keep you on your toes.
When did you first pick up a camera? Because you started your professional 2010, but prior to that, you were in DR.
Yeah.
So you were shooting
like
in
2000,
DR, no?
Yeah, like 2008.
And how did that happen?
I actually picked up the camera because I was married to a model, and I would go to the shoots with her, and I'm a techie. I like gear. So, and then the digital era was already in its best, you know? I didn't have to wait to develop the photos. And I remember I went to one of the sets, and the photographer was a friend of mine, and he let me shoot it with the flashes and everything. And I was amazed. Like, how could we go from that to pop? And, you know, the rim lights and everything. You could shape a person with that. So I ordered myself a camera, the Nikon D90, and I started just shooting my wife at that time, because she was a model. She was a fashion model. And then her friends I started shooting her friends, and it looks like I was kind of good because they kept coming back. They were like, yo, your pictures, every time I send it for a casting, I get picked. So long story short, I started liking it more, but I wasn't a lot into the fashion thing. It was just what I had access to. Like, for example, if I had access to rock stars or something, or, you know, that was probably what I would have shot. So I had models that I could use anytime. I would say, put a bikini, let's go to the beach, and we'll be shooting, you know, at the beach. And I was doing weddings because of the money, but I hated weddings. And when in 2010, when I went for my first show that my friends invited me, like, they would invite me every year since like 2005. But it was such a shitty show that I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Okay, yeah, I'll go. 2010, for the first time, it was big. It was in a hotel. It had a giant stage with LED lights, you know, the works, booth. It looked like a show from today. So I decided to go, and I had access to backstage, and I took my camera. So I was shooting the front of the stage, and then I would go backstage with my flash. And I was amazed that I was capturing photos like the ones I saw on the magazines that I bought. And I mean, I don't know. People say they like my style, but every time I shot, I wanted to get those photos the way they were on the magazines. And that's why, for me, even today, it's hard for me not to shoot with the whole magazine style kind of lighting. I in social media now, a lot of most of the photographers are using, because of the cameras, they're so good at low light. You could shoot just with the light bulbs, you know? You crank up the ISO, there's no grain anymore, the lenses are better, and it gives you an organic look. But those photos will never make it into a magazine. It's good for social media because they look organic. And I try, bro, but I can't. I like the look of a magazine. So that stuck with me. And that's how I started honing in my craft and my style, just to get that lighting every time.
And you do video as well, or is just
I do
something?
video whenever it's necessary. I do video more for myself. I've done video for other projects. My client needs it, and depending on what it is, if I can do it, I'll do it. But my passion is in photography.
So, like for example, I would think right now with these, with the young population, everybody, if you got an iPhone, you're a photographer, so to
Oh
speak,
yeah,
a
everybody knows.
videographer.
Everybody.
What's the difference between a photographer and a videographer? Obviously, the video and the photo, but I think most people think it's the same, right? So, if
No,
you were
it's
to,
not. No, it's not the same.
right,
The way you set up the camera, even for example, cameras now, like the R5, the one that I have, and I think Sony has changed the menus. There's I'm gonna do video. I switch to video, and all the settings change, because the way the ISO, the way you use the ISO, the speed, whatever it is the depth of field that you need to be in focus or not is totally different, because you're in motion, and there's overheating because now we want to do 4K, 8K. It's totally different. But today you need to be a hybrid photographer. Hybrid meaning you could do video and photo, or have a side guy that does the video and you do the photos. But this is what I say. There's photographers, and then there's guys that are really good in Photoshop. Because I've been in situation, for example, I'm at a gym after an Olympia, and there's various photographers shooting. We all have different equipment, different lighting. I see guys with no light, and then I'm like, damn, but I want to see how that shit comes out, bro. They put light where there was no light, and I want to be frank. I am not a guru in Photoshop. I know what I need to know, what I work with every day, but I believe in getting the photo good on camera. For example, my photos, when I go to retouch them, I swear to you, I don't take more than 3 minutes. If I have 5 minutes in a photo, that photo's no good, because I shouldn't be doing so much stuff. But I know guys that they'll take a shit photo and they'll take half an hour, 45 minutes, and they'll turn you into a rock star. Like you're like, what? But that's not me.
Hmm.
Like I cannot spend 30 minutes in one photo. I'll take more time for an editorial, for a cover of a magazine, of course. But when you have clients and you got to deliver a minute more that you take on one thing. So right now on Photoshop, I have all my actions, like things that I repeat, I record it. So all I have to do is one click. Because before it was click, 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 20 clicks before you finish. So things have evolved that you can work faster. But working faster means people get sloppy, and then they rely. I was like that at the beginning. For example, don't worry, I'll Photoshop it. Don't worry, I'll Photoshop it. But then I discovered that was more time I had to spend on the computer fixing. Instead of me taking that cup away at the moment, that saves me a minute, from retouching in every shot. Because imagine we're shooting and that cup is always there. In every photo that I retouch, I gotta remove that cup. I could have done it from the beginning. So yeah, I take my time a little more now. I'm not in such a rush, because I don't think it's about the quantity, it's more about the quality.
Yeah, that's with anything too, man.
And the only thing that I care is that my client, when he sees the photos that I deliver, they need to say wow. If they say I didn't do the job right. They gotta say, wow.
Is there is there a time when you look at a photo and you're like, damn, if because I'm assuming you do a little too much Photoshop, you're like, that photo was not maybe the best or the best angle, whatever the case is. You're like, okay, next time I gotta do this, I gotta adjust this. Like you said, remove the cup, but now
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
No, no. It's been a process.
you-
Like at the beginning, I did all the mistakes, and you start learning. You're like, okay, and at the beginning, you know less. Like when I see my work back then, and I'm telling you
yeah,
that people will rave about photos 10 years ago. I see like, haha, I used to do that. I don't do that anymore.
right.
Little things, texture. Before it was people were into, oh, just make me look young, and but I'm in the business of, I cannot erase your abs. You want to see your abs. Imagine you train for 6 months and then you get the wrong guy for the job, and because he doesn't know what he's doing, he erases all your striations, and you're like, hey, I have like 8 pack and now I only see two. Eh, that's why everybody, ¿cómo que le dices zapato al zapatero? I
En
mean,
español.
yeah, stay in your lane. Like, if this is what you know.
Yeah.
For example, I've had people that they come to me and they start asking me all these questions, and you sure you can do this? And I'm like, listen, look at my portfolio. That's what you're gonna get. No, because I had this guy do my photos, but he was a wedding photographer. Like it's totally different.
These wedding photographers.
A fashion photographer, a wedding photographer, it's all about beauty. They want to make you smoother. They want to put the light softer. But when you're in bodybuilding and you want to make the muscle stand out, you need shadows. You need highlights. It's the opposite. Even myself, when I go to shoot something that is fat, that is not bodybuilding, I have to change the tape, because the way I position my lights right away is to cause shadow. And you're like, wait, no, she's a bride. You don't want shades. You don't want cuts. You want smooth. So you need to put the lights differently.
Yeah, you got to be able to pivot and use it.
And it's just doing. For example, I've been doing this for such a long time that you probably know, and a lot of the people that have worked with me know, I set my lights like more or less, bam, bam, right, to start adjusting. And most of the time, they're in the right place, or I just have to set one light and everything is perfect, because I've done it so many times. I know I walk into a gym and I see the lighting. I know how strong I have to put my lighting. I know what angle I need to put the lights, so when you do the tricep, I get the shadow where I want it, because if I put it wrong, I'll erase the tricep. And people think it's an easy job, and it's not. You got to know what you're doing.
Do most gyms just let you come in and take pictures of anybody, or there's people that don't like that kind of stuff?
No, there's gyms that have rules about you got to pay, or you got to pay, or you got to announce yourself, or let them know, or it has to be at a certain time. But the gyms that I usually go to, they know me, and I brought them. For example, a lot of the gyms that open the doors to me, I brought them Michelle Lewin, I brought them Dexter Jackson, I brought them celebrities. So I got green light from here to New York, most of the gyms.
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah,
that's a
pretty
sign of
dope.
respect,
It's
man.
pretty dope. And I also respect every gym. I tag, because that's fucked up. When you get your picture taken and you brag about the hat, the guy that sent you the hat, thank you so much. But what the fuck? What happened to the photographer? He's done to make you look good too. And thank the gym, the hospitality. They let you use. I've gone to the gym for 4 hours. Bang, 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 bang. Thanks to them, I got paid, and I get to do my work. So I'm very, very anal about that. I even hate it when I don't care you use my photo. Just let people know I took that photo. And I have photos that have gone around the world 100 times. and people send me the photo, and whoever posted in Germany or in Russia or whatever, they don't disregard the photographer.
They don't disregard.
No, they disregard a lot of the
Yeah.
my
Photo cred should
Dude.
always be in every post.
dude. You Google Suraka or Salomon Urraca, and then you see a whole bunch of photos, and I know the old ones, right? And when I click on the old one, that thing is in a social media or in a platform somewhere in Russia or Germany that I didn't even know. I had a client the other day, they came from Hungary. And it was funny. I shot his girlfriend. And the guy, he's a bodybuilder, but he was just there on the side. He's like, "Oh man, when we were coming here, I told my friend photographer that we were gonna shoot with you." They're like, "What? That guy? Yeah." And I'm like, "So you think I should go to Hungary? You think I would get some business?" What? Listen, we came here because we want your signature in our photo. And that thing. I'm very bad with compliments, but and my wife is the one that tells me, "Dude, you're recognized, you're good," because I do it because I love it. Whatever happens. But I was at a show one time, and two girls, they're young girls, probably in their 17, 18. They're like, "You're Suraka?" No, they were calling me Suraka. And I'm there, on my thing, and then Suraka, oh shit, that's me. Hey, hi. You're Suraka, right? Can we take a picture with you? And I'm like, why would you even want to take a picture with me? And they're like, "No, we see all the photos and it's you, and we want a photo with you." So that was a cool feeling, First time I see some kind of recognition because a lot of people don't know how many people I've helped, like athletes. I've had athletes that at the beginning, they didn't have to pay a photo shoot, but I believe in them and I knew they were going to be great. And I took photos for them and I put them in magazines. And, whatever happens. I'm not there doing it for any recognition at the end or whatever, but I know I did my part,
Anytime you see a picture, if you remember if you took it?
Of course.
Every picture.
Of course.
Can you go back to the moment when you took the picture, kind of?
Let me tell you something. You know what's happened to me?
What?
I've seen photos, and I think they're so fucking badass that I was doubting that if I took it. And then I realized I took it.
No shit.
I was like, damn, I know I shot this guy. This shit looks so... And it was me.
Right.
Yeah. But the thing is, bro, I close every year with around 500,000 photos. Dude, my eyes.
How many gigs is that?
I have, okay, in my cloud storage, I use Sync. I have 67 terabytes. And I've lost a lot of stuff in the sense that I've had hard drive failure. Now I'm so anal with syncing because when you're starting this thing and you hear stories, the memory cards, they get damaged. You should have a backup. You should have double backup. And I was like, that shit doesn't happen to me until that shit happens. And you don't have your photos. You want to die. Like, you don't know if you're going to jump from the bridge or you're going to shoot yourself, but what you're going to do. And then there's company that they could retrieve it, but sometimes they're unretrievable. And that has happened to me, bro. And I can't let that happen. And then before, the cloud wasn't that efficient. They couldn't keep up with me. For example, I will go this weekend, come back with 4,000 photos. It was so slow, the internet, that it took me weeks to get what I did that weekend in the cloud. Now I'm up to date because everything's faster. So I ended up I have a bag like with 20 hard drives that I haven't thrown away because they have data there. Because I took over a year to put all those 20 hard drives in the cloud. But at the same time that I'm doing that, I also got to sync what I just did today. But I'm still on 2021 uploading. So I pay the highest internet that there is. I pay on the plans for storage unlimited, and every time they got to give me like 10 terabytes more, 10 terabytes more, 10 terabytes more. I was gonna do a server, but servers fail too, bro. It's difficult, man. It's expensive to keep data. And you know what I get?
Sounds crazy.
That's another thing. Sometimes you say, "Look at this folder. That shit was 10 years ago. I should get rid of it," and I do, bro. A week later, they call me from a magazine. You remember when you did this? You got this photo, ratatatata. And I go search for it, and I'm like, holy shit, that's the one that I erased. That's why I don't erase anything.
Isn't it funny?
Anymore.
Isn't it funny when you get rid of something, right after that is when you get called upon to pick it back out? But if you leave it alone, nobody will ever ask for it.
Nothing happens. And let me tell you, I used to travel with so much gear and then when I get there, half of the stuff I didn't use it. You know what? The next trip, fuck it. I just need the camera. I just need this. 50 pounds lighter. 2 bags I leave behind. Guess what? I needed it.
Yeah.
And I ended up, this has happened like 2 years ago. I went super light, felt super happy. I had to go to the store and buy what I needed because I left half of the stuff that I needed.
Oh, shit.
So, long story short, I travel with everything. Sometimes, bro, duct tape. There's so many things that you think you're not going to need. Photographers are problem solvers and videographers. Nothing goes as planned. The day changes, the lighting, when you went to the place, there's no place to plug. You got to have your extension. Your microphone messed up. You got to have 3 microphones. That's how you travel.
Yeah.
You got to have 2 cameras because the one you think is never going to happen, that day had a cold and doesn't want to shoot.
Does that happen when one camera just doesn't work for the day and then it comes back online or no?
For example, I tried switching to Sony, and no offense to Sony guys. I love Sony. I think it's an amazing camera, but for what I do, I've dropped my camera. I'm in the dust. I didn't clean it. A beast, Canon. I switched for 1 year to Sony. And the only reason why I went back was because I got the 7R4 when it came out, like the top tier for photos. 6 months in, the screen in the back started glitching. I couldn't see anything, so I had to go like this. Then the other one inside messed up. So I came back and I had to take it. It was under warranty. They had to send it 3 weeks, 4 weeks without a camera. I had to get another camera. When they bring it back, they told me, we changed everything inside. You got a new camera. And I'm like, oh, cool. Started working. 2-3 months later, the same thing. If a little bit of water, I shoot at the beach a lot. I get sand, I get water. My 70-200 Sony got sand inside. Like when you go like this,
you could hear it. Yeah,
you could hear it.
Yeah.
Never had a problem with my Canon gear. I was in San Francisco and I dropped my camera, my Mark III. I dropped the camera with the 70-200 and my camera cracked on top. Bro, I put a tape. Okay, let me put a tape. It works. And whenever I get back, I'll buy the part and change it again. Never did it. 3 years working with a camera like that, no problem. I sold it to a friend of mine. The guy's still happy with the camera. My R5, which is the latest one from Canon, I'm at the beach taking photos. Because of the sun is in a certain way and the wind is heading that way, I had to be in the water. I feel the waves hitting me on my legs. Bro, all of a sudden, the wave hit me over here. My camera was soaked in salt water. That's like, no. I thought I lost my camera. I started shaking it. I dried it. My camera is there working. If it would have been a Sony, it would have died. I swear to you. They're delicate. And anyway, why are we talking about gear?
Because we were talking about the Canon is pretty much all terrain. That's your go-to. No?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And if you see in the Olympics and big events, soccer, most of the people have Canon or Nikon, even though there's a few Sony. But you want something to last. You need something reliable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Sony is advanced. Like they're a step ahead. But I cannot live with not being reliable. Being afraid that if I drop it, that's it. My camera is gone.
Yeah. And you're in like the war zone.
Oh
You
my
gotta be
God.
able to,
I've
like,
dropped
get through.
my R5. I've dropped it I don't know how many times. Because I'm carrying, I have it on my belt. It went off, whatever. A lot of the times, I think, okay, when I get home, I'm going to clean my camera. Or tomorrow, I'm going to clean my camera. Bro, sometimes I have 5 days straight of shoots that I don't have time. I don't even take off the lens. And I still have my wife, she's like, dude, your car is full of sand. I'm like, why would I go and wash it if I know I'm going to go tomorrow to the beach again? Let me get a break and then I'll go and wash it, you know? So it all depends on what you do. I'm always at a gym or at the beach.
What is the most fun to shoot like right now? Like people who are getting ready for competitions or
Usually everybody waits for their last week or the day after. When they contact me, hey, what is the best day for us to shoot? I always say the day after. Why? You have your tan. Why? You're already lean. But I love it when they carb up Saturday night. You know, everybody goes out and has a burger or steak, whatever. Bro, they come the next day looking better than the day that they were on stage. So I prefer the next day. And that's why Sundays, that's when you get all the bookings. And people are holding their diet just to, after the photo shoot, okay, yeah, I can eat.
When you shoot a show, you say you do the pre, the in between, and then the after, right? So you used to work for some of these companies. You used to do a lot of photography.
Yeah, for Muscular Development and MD Latino.
Yeah, and what about the Arnolds and all that stuff? NPC.
Yeah, but when I went to the
IFBB.
Arnold, when I worked, that's another cool thing too. When I did the Arnold for the first time, there's a photographer's pit. So there's a section behind the judges where the photographers sit. But since I was a newbie, there's like 5 lines. I was in the back and it was my first show. So I was shooting like between the elbows, like,
right.
I was like, I remember I had such a pain in my legs. Bro, I swear to you, I had to stand and sit down 3,000 times. It was like this. So the guy goes, then he turns around, because I got to do it fast because there's more photographers behind me, but there's 5 in front of me. But the funny thing was, every year I would move another line until I remember I was sitting in front.
You get allowed through what? Through if the more you're there, the more respect you get.
The more respect, of course. So it was cool. There's a photographer I admire. I admire. Yeah, I like his work. He's his commercial work. He's been shooting bodybuilding for a long time. He's not shooting bodybuilding anymore. He's shooting The Rock, and he went to the next level. It's Per Bernard. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's in California. I've heard of him. A lot of the guys, John De La Rosa and Victor Martinez, they were like, no, we were shooting with Per Bernard. Oh, you should meet Per Bernard. Have you seen his work? And bro, his work is insane. And I remember when I met him the first time, Suraka, he shook his hand. I was some other guy. 3 years later, we sat together in the front. He's like, hey, Suraka, how are you? And we had a conversation. Like, he knew who I was. He had seen my work. That was pretty dope. And I was sitting in the front. Like, my last years, I was sitting in the front. And I see the new guys in the back trying to. And already, because you know the drill, you take your little donut, or because you want to be higher. Because you also have the judges. And sometimes one of the judges is 6'2". The head is in the bit, and you cannot deliver a photo with the head in the middle. So yeah, man, it was a cool time.
That sounds pretty dope.
And everybody was shooting. For example, Per Bernard was shooting for Flex. I remember who's the other one shooting for another magazine, and RX Muscle. Everybody was shooting for a different publication, be it internet or printed.
So would that be one of the person that you say, okay, because you said you admire, you like his work. Is there somebody else you kind of take your work after? Because I know you say you like to take the pictures to make sure that they could get into a magazine almost. But is it specific photographers or
No, you know that I never tried to be or copy any particular. I admire his work.
Mm-hmm.
I take the things that I like from his work. Like there's guys that I admire that I wouldn't shoot my photo like that, but I love their work. I have my other things that I do that I like. So I took bits and pieces from where there's another photographer that I love his work, and it's Chris Bailey. He's in England.
Mm-hmm. What does he shoot for?
He was shooting for, I remember that time, but he's in every show, and his photos are very, very good. And in England, he's like nobody better than him. He just built a studio, crazy studio. But the guy super chill. We shake hands every time we have a conversation. He called me during the pandemic. We did a live, and he calls me up sometimes to see strategies. What are you doing? Da 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 da. And it's pretty cool, that he could call anybody.
Yeah.
And the fact that Per Bernard also called me by my name, and he knew who I was, and that was pretty dope. But I feel like I earned it too. It wasn't like I just got here,
Yeah.
It took me time. I had to prove that I was good.
Is there a way that AI and these news, anything new is affecting photography? Is it gonna take the photographers out, so to speak?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It depends what you're looking for. It depends the style, because AI, you could tell is AI. Mm-hmm. Even though it's similar, like it's similar to the real, but I could tell it's AI. And brands, depending on how they want to market themselves, they're looking for a certain style. They're looking for example, whoever comes to me, they want to see their athletes looking jacked, and they know consistency. Like you don't see, okay, good photo, great photo, shitty photo. Like you're not gonna see that in my portfolio, even though I did have it like that. For example, at the beginning, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but at the end, it came out good, but it wasn't what I had in my head. Now, I have something in my head, and I could picture and I could do it. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference when you're starting, when you're not a professional, when you're a professional. You're still trying stuff.
Right now, you have like your own formula, so to speak.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes when I have the freedom to try new stuff, I'll do it. But if I'm with a client, I'm not gonna be wasting time, trying to invent something new when they're expecting this, and I know how to do that.
Yeah. So what are they expecting? Like when a person is reaching out to you, because I'm assuming you get different types of clients.
Yeah, but all fitness oriented.
All fitness oriented.
It's either clothing, it's either supplements, it's either waistbands, it's either machines. I've done all of that.
But do you do you prefer to work with specific clients, like only professionals or people or amateurs who are just getting in?
Let me tell you something. I love amateurs.
Yeah,
they listen. They I have to tell them, but they're willing to do what I said. They're stoked that they're shooting with me and whatever you say,
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't had a bad experience with pros, but pros got their own thing. Pros are late most of the time. They're like, you gotta wait for them because He needed his massage, and he's low on energy, and
What is the ego thing?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's ego, but it's just the whole style. You know, you're a pro already. They gotta wait for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't work. Because when you're on a time frame and you're doing it for this, because sometimes it's personal. You know, I could shoot the athlete because they wanted to shoot. Usually they're on time. But when it's for a company, we got to wait for a whole entourage. The marketing director, the guy, the clothing, the supplement, everything has to be there. And that's why commercial shoots, you charge more. First of all, they're making money with your photo. For example, if you're just an athlete, you want to take a photo for memory, you know, hang it in your, have it in your social media, but you're not coming out, you're not going to come out in Flex magazine in the cover. When you do a commercial shoot, they usually want that image to sell their product, to sell their image. So we should get more money for that too.
Yeah.
You know what happened to the guy that the Jordan signed?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was a photographer. They copied it from a photographer, a guy dunking like that. Bro, like 10 years later, the guy sued Nike for, they gave him like $18 million because he proved that it was his photo. Yeah.
Wow. That's why you can't throw away the files.
Yeah. And that's why, you know, right now, maybe Empire is not as big. But later, when Empire is worth 100 million, and you use my photo, I'll be like, "Hey, you remember that photo, bro?" I have a client, but that's the thing. I am not like that. I have a client. Or I had a client. I did when I came from DR. I was doing everything, graphic designing, whatever it is, bro. To get a couple of $100, I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
They needed a label for a new product that they were gonna, you know how as seen on TV, for your joints, the pain, buy one, get three, just pay one in the next 10 minutes. One of them company hit me because
the QVC used to be like that.
Well, they hit me. They hit me out because he was a friend of mine. He knew I was computer savvy, bro. Out of nowhere, I started getting elements from the internet, and I did their label. They were small. I asked them for $500 for the label, and they're like, "Man, we're just starting, $350." And I'm like, "I hope you remember me when you're up there, bro." That same product has made them millions. They used to have a one space like this. They have the whole building. Millions.
What do they do?
I haven't got a check. I haven't heard anything yet. But you know, that's the kind of shit. You're like, wow. If you were that type of guy, I could easily, because I have all the files.
Right.
Easily say, hey, I want 10 million. But I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah. What product is this for?
It was stem cells, something stem cells. Yeah.
Yeah, longevity, man.
But the thing is, they and I saw the guys a few years back, and I'm like, hey, dudes, I'm still waiting for that check. What are you talking about? I'm like, that fucking label, you're still selling it 10 years later.
They're selling the same shit.
Bro, the same label.
Crazy.
They haven't changed anything. It was so good. They haven't changed anything. And that's their number one product. I did a couple more labels for them, but that one is the shit.
Killed it.
Yeah.
What do you think is success in the world of photography and the world of image aesthetics?
Well, I mean, for everyone, success could be a different thing. But for me, where I want to get is I've been trying to do my own projects now, because what I've noticed is I've been working for someone else. Like, you come with your vision. Of course, I'm going to do my little touch, but but something that comes from me that I create, that I think about, this is what I want, and do an exhibition and then have pieces in, on your wall. That for me is, so right now I'm working on some projects where I want to sell my work that has nothing to do, probably some fitness, but it has nothing to do with, it's more artsy. It's more whatever the hell I feel like, Eh, and recognition, in the world.
So I'm interested about knowing, like, when you were traveling, and I know you still travel, but you would carry all your stuff, hustling, sometimes taking pictures right before the show,
Oh my
during the show,
God.
doing your thing,
Okay, let me
and then
tell you.
taking pictures after.
Let me tell you my routine.
Hustler's mentality, man. I really want to know
Eh,
about that.
I was younger. I was in my mid or late 30s, and hungry, and already stepped into the bodybuilding world. And I met the editor of MD Latino, who went to Dominican Republic for a show, and that was the first show that I shot. So the only photos there, like good photos, were mine. So when they introduced him to me, he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna use your photos. Is that okay?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Like cover and everything. And after that, I came to Miami and I met up with him. He's like, "Yeah, I got work, but I got like 5 photographers too. Let me see what I got for you." And months went by. I was doing my own thing until one day he called me and he goes, "Are you available Thursday?" And I'm like, I was available any day. I had no job. I was like, "Let me see." Yeah, I'm available.
Yeah.
What are we shooting? You're shooting Natalia Melo. Natalia Melo was Miss Olympia 2012, I think it was, bikini, Brazilian. I was like, "Oh, what?" Like, I got to get my shit straight. Anyway, she was amazing to work with. The photos came out really cool. We still even sometimes say hello. Eh, and he started firing his photographers. Well, he got rid of a couple of photographers. Then it was like me and two other. And at the end, it was just me and him. So we started doing the whole tour. We would start with the Arnold. Then after the Arnold, it was the New York Pro, then Chicago Pro, then Tampa Pro. We didn't do West Coast. I don't remember why. We did a lot of South American, because MD Latino was muscular development Latino. So he wanted to remember, the window for, and that's where I tell you that we helped a lot of people. The window for the people in South America be known in North America was us being in that magazine and us going to cover your show, your NPC show in Colombia. El Suramericano, it was in Colombia. The South American Championship, it was in Colombia. We went to cover it. So because of us, people knew about you in Colombia or Brazil or Chile, which we did. Right. And that was a really cool experience because we went to Mexico, bro, and we were like rock stars. People would wait for us. Like, "Here, let me carry your stuff." Yeah, no, whatever you say, because they knew we were there for them. And everybody was like, "Let me tell you, it's such an honor to be shot by you."
And those were the athletes.
Those were the athletes. And at the moment, I didn't understand, but now I do. When I see, when you're in a third world country, and it doesn't matter how good you are, if you're not seen, nobody's going to know about you. Let me put an example. There was a guy in Dominican Republic. His name was Novoa. I forgot his first name or his last name. This guy, when we went to the first, in 2010 that I went to that show, everybody looked jacked, whatever. This guy looked like Phil Heath. I'm talking about in 2010. And the guy was like 50 years old. Bro, shredded, humongous. Kit, the editor, he goes, "This guy should be a pro. This guy should be competing in the United States." I remember the people from MHP looked at him. He goes, "We got to get this guy to the United States. And there was an effort. People chipped in money to bring him to compete here. Pay for his hotel, because the guy came from, he was poor,
Yeah.
but he was a giant. He was jacked. Nobody knew about this guy until that competition. And those cases repeated itself in every country we went. We discovered talent. A lot of the Mexican dudes that are competing now, I saw them when they were nobody, when they were like 150 pounds.
How does it make you feel to see that change in people?
Oh man, I mean, it's part of history, And the time we went to Chile, the time we went to Colombia, for example, Fernando, what's his name? Shit, his last name. The guy, I saw him when he was men's physique like this, The guy, he was at the Olympia. Not this one, a couple of years back. I saw his growth. He's the trainer for J Balvin. Imagine that.
Yeah, big names.
Yeah, big names.
What do you think is we were talking earlier prior, the political side of training, the competition, and how, you have a totally different perspective. You have like boots on the ground.
I've seen things.
You've seen some
I've
shit.
seen things.
What is the deal with that?
I know they're trying to change it. Maybe they have changed it. Now
you're talking about what, Arnold, or
no. I'm talking about, for example, the federation.
Mm-hmm.
The Tyler Mannion is the new head judge, and Steve Weinberger, who has a whole bunch of experience. But I saw things. I saw people that should have won winning, and people that should have won not even being looked. And I know it had to do with who they were sponsored with, and if it was a benefit for them to have them represent the brand. You know what I'm saying? And that started killing my thing of going to the shows. I used to enjoy the whole show. I was working in it, I was working from 9 o'clock doing the ¿cómo se dice los preliminares? Jesus, prejudging. Yeah. I enjoyed prejudging, the break, then came back to the finals. I enjoyed it for 5-6 years. Now I don't anymore. First of all, it has grown so much. You got a lineup. Before it was 3 groups. You had A, B, C. Now you have A, B, C, D, E, F. Like, you're 12 o'clock at night. There's so many competitors. People get overlooked. But you're a judge, you have eyes. Like, that guy's fucking jacked. Why is he in the top 5? And if you notice, every year is the same 5 people. For years, for 5 years, it's the same 5 people. You're gonna see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in different orders. And there's guys down there that could have jumped, but they won't do that, because the guys up there have a name. How can you dethrone them for this new guy that has no name? But it shouldn't be like that. It should be, if you look better, if you present better, that's it. Regardless who you are, you should be given the title.
Yeah. Be a merit.
So I saw all of that, and sometimes I feel sorry for guys that I see training really hard. And then I'm like, who are you with? Who's your trainer? Who are you sponsored with? Like, you got to be a wonder of the world to pull it off right now. Like, you being a nobody, being jacked, being prepared, and beat the guy that you can beat, but because of their name or who backs them up, you won't.
Yeah.
And you get frustrated.
Yeah.
And then it'll take you a few years. That's another thing. You got to perseverar. How do you say that?
Persevere. Yeah, persevere.
Because your time will come. But it's fucked up. You had it. And you got to wait 3 years. For example, Janet Leigh, bro, I saw her. I was a fan of Janet Leigh. I thought she should have won 10 years ago. Janet Leigh was in the top five, like second and third every year. And she was beat by somebody else until her time came. And she was two times Miss Olympia. Laura Chapi, the one that won now at the Olympia, bro, I've seen her being sixth, fifth, fourth, third, second, and now she got it. She could have given up on one of those, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But you got to stay in the game because that's how it is.
It makes you look at them too, like from a different perspective, like a lot of respect to those people.
I mean, I know a lot of guys and a lot of people that dropped off that are probably wondering, what if I would have stayed 2 more years? But bro, it's 2 more years of dándole, sacrifice. I don't know what's going in your life, but you gotta say, hey, is this thing am I gonna make it? Because the only people that make money in this industry is the ones that are up there.
Yeah,
Mr. Olympia, bunch. You get 500,000, but the rest, when you're doing all the small shows, you don't get money. You get a trophy, you get a sword. I know people that have a whole bunch of trophies and a whole bunch of swords, no money.
Yeah,
and I think they should put more money into the prices because it's expensive, bro.
Yeah. It's a tough business, man.
Bro, you start thinking, if you're really serious, the gym, your trainer, and then you got maybe a posing or a nutritionist, and this and that, and the rest of the stuff, it adds up. You got to be either really passionate or really rich to stay at it just for the heck of it, because you're not winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I don't think the really rich is very abundant. Everybody's really passionate about this.
Yeah, you got to be passionate.
So how does that affect you? Like, for example, you're taking pictures of people who are into fitness. Does that make you like more wanting to like, oh shit, I got to eat better, I got to watch my shit, or not really? Because a lot of people are also dying and taking a lot of like, shooting up.
Affect me?
Yeah, does it like motivate you, or because you're in these people's faces taking pictures?
Let me tell you something. One thing that happened when I got into knowing the athletes, I got respect for them. I didn't know how hard it was to keep a diet, keep your job. Like, how the hell could you be a cop or a nurse and then do cardio at 3 o'clock in the morning and then got to be at the hospital, and succeed and be in the top? That shit takes discipline, So, because before, when people saw you with muscles, look at this guy. All he does is shoot whatever, he's steroids. And they don't know jack. They don't know that it's not about the steroids. It's about what you do with the steroids. You know what I'm saying? Like the way you eat, the way you train, you got to sleep. These people don't party. Now I understand. When I used to go out with my bodybuilding friends, they were the most boring guys. They wanted to eat and they wanted to leave. Of course, because their body, that's what they can't drink.
No drinking. Yeah.
They got to rest. So, it changed and I got respect for these people. And in the years that I was there, like I've done work for labs, for supplement companies, and the stuff that I learned that is not what you think that goes on, the good stuff and the bad stuff. There's bad labs that put a whole bunch of fillers, that they start with the best protein, and as soon as it picks up, they need profit. So what do? Fillers, less protein. But you keep drinking. That's why you see some products that they're not working anymore. You remember when Hydroxycut came out?
Yeah, I do remember.
Bro, that was the best shit for losing weight and energy.
Yeah, and everybody was on it for a while.
No, because it had ephedra and it had a couple of things that worked. Then some stupid kids took like 5 Hydroxycut and went to sleep and never woke up because retarded. Why would you do that? So they had to take out ephedra, they had to take out creatine, or I don't know what it was, and it wasn't the same thing ever.
Yeah, I totally have forgotten about that. Yeah.
And you gotta, I mean, if you're in the industry, you gotta keep up with what you're putting in your body, because a lot of the stuff that we think, remember, we used to think this was good, and now we discover that this is bad.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's nuts, man. What keeps you going now that you've been doing it for 15 years and obviously it's still a passion of yours? What keeps you going? What are the things that you do to make sure you
I
still stay on top of your
I
game?
I love shooting the athletes. I love trying to display their hard work. Like, I think it's my job. Like, come on, like, you think you look good? Let me show you how you look.
Mhm.
Bah! And then they're like, oh, holy shit, is that me? I love that. And I love photography. I love the travel, and I think I'm good at what I do. And sometimes I know all these athletes. Sometimes I see, like, I even hit them up. Like, when I know them or a girl, I'm like, listen, that photo doesn't do you justice. Like, why the fuck are you posting that shit? And then they understand.
Yeah.
When we shoot, like
Do they first think that you're like, oh, you just want to take my picture?
no, because most of them, they're paying
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me. Listen, I've had people that shot with me that they're like, I've been wanting to shoot with you for this many years. And I'm like, and what happened? I couldn't afford you. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm not expensive, but I'm not $200. That's what everybody, because that's the thing. You go to the shows now, and there's 5 guys outside that they'll shoot you for $150, but you get what you get what you pay for. And at the end, they end up coming to me or coming to a reputable photographer, and they
Mhm.
see the difference. Just like a good shoe, a good anything, there is a difference.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't, I don't know if you notice, but my wife tells me, bro, it's a 2-hour shoot. Sometimes I'm there 3-4 hours because I think I'm still getting the best out of it, and I can't stop. Of course, if I have a schedule and I have another shoot, I got to cut it.
Yeah.
But things are working now. And why am I going to stop? We're getting even better shots. And that's where the passion comes in.
Yeah, it sounds like you feel it. I can feel it.
And I love feeling proud of the shot that I took. Like, for example, I could take a shot. Like, sometimes I take shots and I'm like, shit, man, I should have done this, or I could have done this better, or I should have told him to do this, whatever. I hit myself in the head. Even though for the normal person, my wife won't even know the difference, or anybody. They'll be amazed, the client, But when I tell them, they're like, oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But they don't even see it. They don't know what I'm talking about. Sometimes one flash didn't fire, but the photo is badass. But I know my photo with that light on the other side behind your shoulder, it would have been the bomb for me.
Yeah.
But for you, you're going to be amazed anyway. But I know what I know. Sometimes I'm like, when I'm setting the lights, I'm not hitting it. I'm like, bang, bang, bang. When I go, pop, we're in the zone. Now we're going. Because I know I haven't got to my point, Because of the gym is different. The angle that I have to work with. Sometimes I got to work in a packed gym. And if you see my photos, they look that the gym is empty. And it's freaking hard.
Yeah. I've seen that. I've also seen you with your whole setup. Really, I mean, it's not.
There's
just one,
Bev's gym. You know Bev's gym in New York?
I've
In
never been to
Sayase.
it,
Well,
no,
if you do the New
no.
York Pro or you go to New York, you got to go there because that's the gym of Steve Weinberger, who's the head judge of the IFBB, and it's a fucking mecca, hardcore. Like, the first time I was traveling to Bev's, I've heard of Bev's, but I've never seen Bev's. I thought I was gonna land in the state-of-the-art gym. It was a total opposite. That shit smells like rust, ass, and everything. Okay,
Like a Rocky Balboa movie,
bro. But you know what? You see all the bodybuilders training there. Y todito así, loco, mira, because there is no AC. In the summer it's hot, and in the winter it's cold. Like I was shooting with gloves inside the place, and there were 20 photographers at the same time. Pop, poop, pop, pop, poop, pop. Imagine that. But that's part of the experience, you know. That's part of the challenge.
I think they go there too to get that like grungy, raw, like
no, the thing
iron,
is, the thing is, we go to because that's the only gym.
No, I'm saying the athletes go there.
Oh, the athletes. No, the thing is, they have every machine in every angle that's ever like they have shit that nobody has. That hits your pec differently.
Yeah, very specific.
And everybody there, it's not a social club. Everybody's there is like if you don't see anybody there sitting with their phone holding up the machine, because you'll get somebody, hey, are you gonna finish? You done? Get the fuck out. I gotta work. You know, that's how it is.
Yeah, New York.
Like that.
Yeah.
They're fucking rude. But it's the way. It's the way.
That's the way. Empire's the way.
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge you ever had to face? Now, it doesn't have to be camera wise, like just biggest challenge you ever had, toughest challenge.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, challenges come when things are not going your way. And it could go wrong in many ways. For example, your first shoot ran late and you got to move to different places. I don't know. I don't remember like a big challenge, but every time there is challenges that there's obstacles, you know?
Yeah.
Even, oh my God, we were going to the Olympia last year. No, last year? No, this year. That was this year. We were going to the Olympia and the hurricane, I almost didn't leave and we left. But then because we left late, I missed my rental. It was closed. So I had to call another rental at 11 o'clock at night in Vegas to get a car because I had to shoot in the desert the next day at 6 o'clock in the morning. I cannot go to my client, oh, I can't make it because I didn't get, you gotta resolver.
Yeah, I like that. It sounds like you get it done by any means necessary too, man. That's pretty dope.
Let me tell you a story. 2 years ago, because last year Olympia was in Orlando, but the year before it was in Vegas again. Me and my wife, we're going to Olympia for the first time in a long time. I'm like 3 hours early. I'm always arriving like they're closing the door. I'm always going in like that.
Last one.
And for the first time, we're 3 hours, and she goes, "Baby, let's go and have a drink." This was the gate. There was a Chili's right beside it. Like, I mean, you can't miss the plane. You're right beside it. Bro, we ordered a few drinks. I remember that there was a hurricane happening. Everybody was on TV. We made some friends. And I see that my thing, 6 o'clock, baby, let's get the check and let's go. We got the check and we're like, talking. And when we get to the gate, there's no one. They locked the door. The plane was leaving. You know what crossed my mind? I was like, how fast can I drive to Vegas from Florida? I'm like, no, it's impossible. Okay. I was almost going to cry when a guy goes, check with Spirit. They have a 8 o'clock flight. Go to Spirit. Pay like I don't remember, it was 200 and something bucks each. So those drinks cost me like $600 to make it. The same deal. I had to change my rental, the whole works to be there. Crazy. Oh, another time, I decided I wasn't going to the Arnold because I don't remember why. And I had only a few shoots. Like it wasn't even worth going. And all of a sudden, bro, I got this gig with this brand, big gig. Plus the shoots that the people that wanted to shoot with me, And I was like, now it's worth it. Let's go. When I went to check the tickets, it was like $1,000 something each because it was like last minute. I was like, fuck it. Let's get a rental. Let's drive. We drove from here to Ohio, to Columbus, Ohio. And we made it on time, bro. Like nonstop.
How long is the drive from here to Ohio? 20 hours?
Like 20 something hours.
20 something hours, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but because decided last minute.
Last minute.
We weren't gonna be cruising and let's get something to eat. It was like drive, gas, bathroom, eat in the car, you drive, I drive, Red Bull.
So how do people reach out to you right now to, like, for example, if they want a gig, they want to take some pictures, professional?
Usually I get hit up on Instagram on DMs or I get some emails, but 90% is Instagram. I'm always letting people know where I'm gonna be, if I'm gonna go to the show, and that's another thing. Before, I would take as many shoots as I could. Now, I don't take more than 3-4 shoots a day. Like that's max. That's topping it. And if I get 9, now for the Olympia, I got like 9 shoots, and I was happy.
How long is a shoot?
A shoot is 2 hours. But for example, in Vegas, since all my shoots were in the desert, I would my fee included picking you up at your hotel and bringing you back. Because if I leave it to the athletes, it would be a mess. Because I would be in the middle of the desert waiting, and they don't get there, and then I have another shoot, and they couldn't get the Uber or they got lost. I can't have that happen. So I rather charge more and have less shoots than try to get 20 shoots. Like there's some photographers there that do like 30 shoots. That's crazy. But they carry one little light and one camera.
Yeah.
They're like a one-man show. You know, I bring bags. I bring 3 lights, and depending on what we're gonna do, different modifiers. And you know what I had to do in Vegas? Traveling with all that gear, bro. I used to pay extra $200 and something going, $200 and something coming back, just for light stands and some lights. And I was like, wait a minute, if I'm gonna be doing this shit every year, the light stands, bro, are $100. So I'm going back and forth with the same light stands, paying all that money. I bought light stands and I left it in elevation in Vegas in a little room. So now when I go to Vegas, I just take my camera and some lights, but the heavy stuff, it's already there.
Oh, nice. That's pretty dope.
And for example, I started doing the same thing in New York. When I was doing the New York Pro, because it's in a gym, I don't need a sturdy, heavy-duty light stand. So I'm like, wait a minute, I'm paying $100 and something to go and $100 and something to come, and a cheap light, I could get a good light stand like that would do the job for $60 or $40. So I would go. There's a store, a camera store right beside Bev's, the gym. Literally in my car, it takes me 2 minutes to get there, and I go and I buy $40 light stands. Bang, 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 bang. After I'm finished the whole weekend, I throw it away. And it's cheaper than me paying the.
Of course.
Yeah.
Maybe sell it back to the guy at half the price.
No, but I mean, you learn from all
for 2 hours when you're shooting an athlete, do they get burned out? I mean, like, they're flexing for 2 hours or getting is it?
Sometimes it happens, but I keep it kind of dynamic. But I have to tell them, listen, carb up, because I've had athletes that they thought not eating was better to come in leaner. And I remember I had a men's 212 guy that looks like this, that he couldn't hold a 40-pound dumbbell. Like, how are we going to get a shot with you, humongous, with a 20, it's impossible. Oh, hurry up. He was from Kuwait.
He had no energy.
He had no energy,
Yeah.
bro. So I'm like, what happened? No, I didn't eat. Well, I have to go to the bathroom. And I tell people, like, when we're gonna shoot, I tell you, listen, carb up, eat your, eat, don't hold back. You're gonna look good the next day. I mean, don't go crazy doing chocolate ice cream and
Yeah,
spaghettis,
of course.
but have your steak, have your burgers, have 2 burgers. It doesn't matter. Eh, also, the thing is, I get the shot right away, so I'm not there with you doing the same thing. It's 2 times, bang bang. Okay, I think I got it, but let's do a couple more. Bang bang. That's it. Let me put you an example. I remember when I started photography, because I wasn't sure that I had the shots. I was always, I'm an amateur. I thought the more photos I go home, the better chances to get the good photo is, right? So I would go
I
home.
would think that now.
So
but okay.
I will go home with 3,000, 4,000 photos. And that made me feel good. But then you had to go to 3,000, 4,000 photos to pick the good ones. Now I do a photo shoot. And if I don't do in burst, like if I do one shots, I would do 300 shots. But I know when I got the shot now. Like I'll go bang bang, I have it, but let's do a couple more because you never know if you blinked or whatever or something. I get the shot right away. Like anything else is just waste of time. And a lot of the compliments that I get is that, hey man, you're fast. But yeah, we have the shot. Why should we keep doing the tricep thing if we already got the shot?
That's experience, man.
Yeah.
That's experience.
Yeah. And that gives me also, because I always go with what works. So I know if you have a big back or your shoulders are good, what to do to make them pop or what position to do. I get those out of the way. Then I will get creative. Let's do this. Let's think about this. But I got the shots already. Before, I didn't think I had it. So I had to go shoot. The more I shoot, the better.
Yeah, I mean, you shoot athletes, but you shoot celebrities too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. These people are the top of the top. Who are like some of the biggest names that you work with?
Well,
I mean, if you can share.
Yeah, of course. Michelle Lewin is one of them. Michelle Lewin has more than 20 million followers. Dexter Jackson, bro, that guy, he's a legend. Kevin LeBron, I shot. Sadiq, I did work with Sadiq. These are the guys. Okay, Sadiq, Mark Anthony, those people were the first men physique. One of the, like the first batch. When they were like only 20 men's physique, now there's like 100,000 men physique.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I shot those guys in that group. Jason Poston, I don't know if you remember him. No. Also, big dude. The first group of men's physique. From the group from Dexter Jackson, from that lineup. The only guy that I haven't shot is Phil Heath. I never had the chance. But Kai Green, Jesus. Ashkanani, which is men's 212 from Kuwait. That guy is dope. He won the Olympia twice. Kamal, who won the 212 too. Derek, when he won the 212 in Orlando, right before he turned to the open class. I shot him. Bro, you name it. You know how many magazine covers I have from MD Latino? I have stacks like this of different month, different years.
It sounds to me like you should do a documentary on this, with all the 71 terabytes of info and memories and stuff like that. That's pretty dope, man.
You know that I've been wanting to do a book, like a photo book.
Yeah.
With all that I'm saying, I have shots that are not only the stage, but guys coming in from the back and stuff like that.
Yeah. Very behind the scenes.
But I
type.
started, you know how hard that shit is? In the sense that you know how many photos I have to. So I started going like this. I started going by year and throwing photos to the right. Okay, this one I like, this one I like, this one I like, this one I like. Doing that, I was months in and I still hadn't finished. But then those that I threw to the right, they're like a gazillion still. So that I gotta shrink it down even more.
Right, of course. That would be really interesting. It'd be cool to see a book, and I see it like Suraka through the years type
No,
thing.
and you see the same
Fitness.
athlete because I have the same athlete when he was an amateur at the Arnold as an amateur when he became pro, and then he won the New York Pro.
Yeah, you have the whole.
Yeah.
And you could use those pictures. Those are yours, pretty much. You
Yeah,
can use
those are
them.
mine.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, man.
I
So-
mean, maybe if I'm gonna mention something about the federation or something, could be I would have to get their permission or something. But if it's a book about my work, it's about my work.
Yeah, man. I could see that.
Yeah.
Especially after talking to you now. It's like, I just, my creative mind is like, yo, you got to put a book together.
And you know what? You know when the time was to do that?
Yeah, the time is now.
No, the time to do it was in the pandemic, bro.
Oh, you mean as far as time goes?
You know what I did during the pandemic? I like learning. That's another thing I like about photography. I learn something new every day.
Yeah.
And I think that keeps your mind and yourself, on your toes. That you have to keep up with the times.
Yeah.
I was doing the same thing on Photoshop, and I discovered that with the new update, now they change it, and it's one click, and things start changing for the better. So I started taking courses in the pandemic. I had nothing to do. Now I have all the time in the world. And in different areas of photography, not only in techniques or whatever, but retouching or using the lighting in a different way from other professionals. But that's the thing. There is no course of a professional in bodybuilding or fitness photography. I'll find a whole bunch of commercial photographers and I'll apply what they say to my stuff, but there's not even a specific one that this guy, one guy would be Per Bernard, for example, because he's shot, I think he got to shoot Arnold when he's got a whole bunch of photos. Right. Those iconic photos, he did them. He will probably be the one to do something like that, but he's in a level that he's working with, brands like The Rock and big campaigns. He's even out of that game. Because the magazines shut down, the print, people are not paying anymore. Advertising. Even that's why the magazines shut down. Because now, why would I pay $10,000 to be in your magazine with my ad for my product when I'm on Instagram and I'm reaching everybody for pennies?
Yeah.
And that's why they all died.
It's a different game now.
I think there's only Muscle and Fitness is the only one that's still printing from the ones that I used to work with. And it's because they went a little more mainstream. Because before, the only people who buy bodybuilding, with the freaks, are the people that like that. But regular people will pass by on the booth, not buy those magazines, because that's not me. That's the reason why they came with Men's Physique. That's when bodybuilding picked up again. Men's Physique and Bikini brought back bodybuilding to the world, because now people said, "Hey, that's doable." Men's Physique, and then Men's Physique started growing and getting so big that they had to go with Classic Physique, because now they didn't look like a beach body. They look like a bodybuilder, but then they're too small to be in, a bodybuilder. So they had to bring it down to Classic.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. And it's just going to keep evolving, I think.
It's going to keep evolving, right? Because if you're at something and you're getting better and better and better, there comes a point that, because every time they're demanding more, and the guy beside you is a little bigger.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, I got to keep up. But then it comes to a point where we don't even look like Men's Physique anymore. Remember Men's Physique didn't have legs?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Men's Physiques nowadays? Their shorts don't even fit them. They're like the Hulk.
Yeah.
like their thighs, everything.
Yeah, before they were like a little
No,
not baggy, but like beach
yeah,
body shorts.
exactly.
Yeah,
Because
it was
the
different.
idea of men's physique was a beach body. You know, some shoulders, some abs. And I remember back then, people were like, "Yeah, these guys are not bodybuilders; they just got abs because they weren't as big." But now the men's physiques are big. Look at Brandon. Look, that guy. I mean, he's a three-time champion men's physique, but he could make the jump anytime to classic.
Yeah, that's crazy. This last time that you came, you just came from back from Arnold right now.
No, I came from the Olympia.
Olympia.
Yeah.
How was that show?
Well, I watched it on from my hotel.
Oh yeah, well,
I was out shooting. Even Saturday, I wanted to see the whole show, and I got back from shooting at 9 o'clock from the desert. But we had to go eat something because I told my wife, "No, let's go shower and then we go eat." She goes, "Listen, if we go and shower, we're gonna have to stay there because we ain't going. No, we were dead in the sun. It wasn't that hot, but it was 100 degrees.
yeah.
I shot at 115 degrees. Bro, there was a time that we had to plan the shot inside the car. And then run, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm back in.
And I remember hour and a half later, my model was like, "Hey, I'm happy with what we have.
Yeah,
Let's go.
let's go.
It was
Too
crazy.
hot.
You know what I
Too
had to do? I had to stop at Home Depot, buy some rubber like mechanic gloves so I could hold my light stands.
It was too hot.
And my lights, well, I was leaving the lights outside while we were talking, and when we went out, my lights were overheating. They wouldn't shoot. So I had to every time we went in, bring my light. So I switched my car. I don't remember what we had, and then we switched it like to a van because it was easier to put everything, so I didn't have to take it apart. So the second day we changed to a van, and I had to bring everything to the van, so everything's cool. Okay, so now what you gonna wear? This? We're gonna do that. You're gonna do this, and I'm gonna shoot that. It was like in 5-minute intervals.
Right. That's crazy.
115, bro. Like my arm, I was driving like this because this arm I couldn't take it anymore.
It's burned.
Burned.
That's a challenge in itself. All of that stuff is a challenge. Being in the road and being like, you're problem solving, you're trying to, put all these contraptions together to make sure everything works.
No, and you have clients that want the Red Rock Canyon. The other one wants Nelson Ghost Town. The other one wants the Dry Lake. Different routes, like logistics. That's one thing. Logistics, you gotta have that
on point.
But because we already know, it's easy for us. But if you go for the first, like if I would go to Dubai for the first time, I don't know what to expect.
Right.
I don't know how things are gonna go, and I want to go to Dubai. I think we're gonna go next year.
Yeah. So is that what's next? You're gonna go?
I mean,
travel. What?
The thing is, let me tell you something. Brazil, for example. You know how many people want me to go to Brazil? Like, why haven't you gone to Brazil? Everybody knows you were there. The other day, like I told you, the guy from Hungary, in Italy, they write to me. But I'm so busy over here that, bro, it's so, because it's, like I tell you, it's every week. Like, you got to plan a year ahead. I remember we were going to do Arnold Brazil, and it's right after another competition. You're like, holy shit, I thought it was like 2 months after. No, it's next week. And if you didn't plan for it the year before, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
So we're doing more selective planning to go and shoot.
And who helps you with that? You do it yourself, or your wife helps?
Me and my wife. We see, the thing is now, there's like 3 schedules, bro. There's NPC, there's the IBB, and then there's the IBB International. So depending on what you want, and the thing is, for example, now, if you do New York Pro, you're not going to be the one in Puerto Rico or whatever, because it's the same day. You got to choose. You got to pick and choose.
Yeah.
So what is it that you want to do? So but we want to try new stuff. We want to do Europe. There's a big show in Portugal that we want to go, and we have friends now living in Portugal. So yeah, we want to try that stuff.
How is it working with your wife, man? Is she? I'm
She's
sure it's a challenge, but
no, but
is
I
it? It sounds like it's cool from
no,
the
no,
way you
but I
mentioned it.
wouldn't, I wouldn't be able to do it without her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's dope.
yeah, because yeah, man. Yeah. Like if she wouldn't be there, I would be like, okay, what am I gonna do now?
So she's the compliment to
Yeah,
the
she's the
yeah,
compliment, and
nice.
she helps. And guess what? She's the one doing the video. Like if you go to my Instagram, all those reels, she's the one doing it.
Mm,
You know what used to happen when I went by myself? She's like, "Where's the video?" I'm like, "Oh shit, I forgot." Like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
another thing.
yeah, yeah,
That's another thing. I can't have a photo camera and a GoPro and a DJI. Like,
yeah. And the drone.
something's gotta happen.
Yeah.
I remember
That's funny.
last year, the 2 years ago, the drone, I crashed it into a. How the hell do I crash it into a light stand? Like the whole desert, and I'm going around. Bing! It hits the light stand. But yeah, my wife, she's a compliment, bro. And she wakes up with me. She do everything together, but she's another pair of eyes. She also can help with the girls, the hair, this and that. She's paying attention to that,
Yeah. That's amazing, man.
and she's very good with. Sometimes they bring stuff and they don't know what they're gonna wear, and she can put it together like really good. Like I like this with that, and
Yeah.
usually
Works out well.
we always have a joke because she comes up with ideas, and I'm like, "Come over here. You're supposed to say it in my ear, okay? Everything here is my idea. It's not your-" She's like, "Oh, okay."
That's dope, man. That's cool. It sounds like fun. I'm sure obviously it has its ups and downs, but
No,
it's like it
there's
sounds like it's a
no
good thing.
down.
No?
There's no down anymore. I mean, there hasn't been down. It's because we go to work.
Yeah.
We're not trying to, go party and work. Dude, we're dead.
Yeah.
We come back in that plane. That's the coolest ride from Vegas to Miami because I get on the plane and before that shit hits the air, I'm sleepy. And by the time that thing goes, I'm like, wow, we're here. Yeah. Because that's how tired we come.
I could imagine, man.
And this time we had a long time to rest, but most of the time it's like our last shoot straight to the airport. This time we had it was late at night and we finished Sunday like around 6. So we had all that time to go back to the hotel and chill and
Nice.
pack.
What's your schedule like nowadays? Can somebody reach you and book you right away, or is there like a wait?
I mean, no. Usually weekends are the ones that I get more bookings because of the shows.
Mm-hmm.
Everything happens on the weekend, or people work and it has to be done on the weekends. Yeah, but weekdays I do a lot of shoots on the week, and I love doing it in the week, especially when it's outdoors, beach shoot and stuff like that. There's nobody at the beach. Gyms are more packed on the weekdays than on the weekends. So usually I like do beach stuff on the weekdays.
And then gyms on the weekends.
Yeah. And a lot of the people that I've been shooting for some reason, they're already made people, like they don't have they either own companies or they have time to shoot whenever they, whenever you want, whenever they want.
More independent.
And that's another thing, I have to pick and choose. Okay. There's a when you go to price range and how much you work for, you start getting different clientele. That's just like, bro, Rolls Royce doesn't have to convince people to go buy a Rolls Royce. The guy that wants a Rolls Royce knows he's going to get it. So same thing. A lot of the times when an athlete goes like, oh, you're out of my budget, I totally understand. And I can refer you to somebody that's going to do it like that, but I cannot. For example, when I travel with my wife. I don't stay in my car. There's photographers that sleep in their cars to save money. I'm not going to do that shit. I got a car, hotel, ticket. and then I'm gonna charge you $300-400. I would have to shoot 20 the whole freaking show to be profitable, you know? Just getting to Vegas is $3,500. I offer you a big, a better experience. I take you out to the desert. Like if you're in Vegas and we shoot at the gym, it could have been shot anywhere. We could have shot in Miami. We didn't have to wait for Vegas. So let's make it worthwhile. To appreciate where I took you and the photos that you're gonna get. Like today I saw a comment of a client that I shot. She goes, "My friends were asking if that was Photoshop. We were in Vegas. That's how it looks. Like holy shit, that's not even real." So yeah, I've been modifying. And I'm not saying to brag or whatever. Everybody has, their price or whatever they think they're worth. But I have a family. I gotta spend time with the family, and I cannot be going out all day to come back with $200. And I've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
And I'll guarantee you good photos and a good experience. Like, something cool. 90% of my clients are recurring clients. Like I've been shooting them for the past 10 years.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing.
That's super amazing.
Yeah.
Super amazing. So yeah. When they come to me, I have my packages. This is what I have. Sometimes I want to work with them depending of, what is it that if they really, really, really want. But nowadays, you get a lot of inquiries, people just asking around. And if you're going to shoot with somebody because of the price, then, you got your perspective in somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, you got to know what is it you want to get. I'm not saying just me. There's a whole bunch of good photographers. But you go, okay, I shot with Suraka. Let me try this guy. Let me try this guy. But, get something that is worth. Let me tell you, I was buying one day. I was like, you know what? Sneakers are sneakers, and I'm going to, for work, I was buying those $35 Amazon shoes. They worked, but on the third time, the thing went.
It starts talking.
Yeah, it started talking. So is it worth it?
No.
Is it worth it?
Oh, good things ain't cheap, and cheap things ain't good.
No, and you know what? It sucks that you shoot with somebody and then you see your friend that shot with the other guy. Holy shit, your shit was better,
Yeah.
And no offense, everybody starts somewhere, but that's just the way it is, man. And I don't know why people say, "Oh, okay, you're too expensive." I'm like, are you fuck? I carry $40,000 in my bag. I mean, think of this. I have 3 lenses. The cheapest one costs $800. The other one is $15, and the other one is like 20 something. 2 cameras. Each one is $3,500. Batteries, lights. My lights. I've had lights that the wind knocked it down, cracked. $800 lost. I don't tell the client, "Hey man, No, it's part of. So don't expect me. Oh, you want to pay $200? Okay, I'll pull out my iPhone, pose. I'll do it for $200. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So and you're in Vegas. You want me to go from Miami to Vegas?
Right. But at least your clients already know. They know. People know.
And you know what you're getting, and you're there.
So I know people contacting you on Instagram. You have a website as well?
I have a website, suraka.com.
Suraka.com on Instagram.
Suraka, everything Suraka.
Yeah. Salomon Urraca. Yeah.
You know what? You remember when the internet came out? You had to have an email. And everybody had like a cool name. And I didn't know I couldn't think of a cool name. So I was like, fuck. And I had to remember something that I would remember. So it was like, okay, my first letter, the letter of my name, which is an S, Urraca. And then every time something else would come up that you had a new account for something else, I would do the same thing because I forget. So I cannot have 10 different passwords with
Right,
10 different.
right,
I gotta.
right.
So when I change one password, I
I'm the
change
same way.
all the passwords
Right, right.
when there's a breach. So it stayed like that. And when I came to this country, people at the beginning they would be like yelling at me, Suraka, Suraka, and I'm like, whoa, Suraka. Oh, yeah, that's me.
That's me,
That's
yeah.
me. But now it's like I'm used to it.
Yeah, it's got flow. I like it.
For me, it was weird at the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got. I mean, Barack Obama. There's a whole bunch of
Yeah,
weird names.
Surak,
Yeah,
Surak.
Surak.
But isn't it like a signature
no.
feel to it?
You know who called me Surak? And Dexter Jackson and a couple of guys. Surak. It's Surak.
That's amazing, man. We're gonna add that to the post and add that so that people can contact you, man.
Okay.
And any advice for somebody getting into the industry right now? New photographer.
Course. Advice. One question I get a lot when photographers hit me up, hey, look at my work. What do you think? A lot of them, their work is okay, but get good models. Stop worrying about the freaking gear. Oh, I gotta have that guy does better photographer because he has the best camera. That's bullshit. Dude, work with what you have. But what you're gonna present, even though people think they hit me up, you know what? I've had 3 years that I wanted to shoot with you, but you only shoot shredded people. I shoot everybody. But I only show the shredded people because that's the market that I'm going for. Because that's the ones that do the show. Imagine, you think Brandon want to shoot with me if I was showing, a sumo wrestler?
Right.
No.
Right.
He comes with me, wow, he shoots these people and they look good, but I shoot everybody. So depending on what you want to get, that's what you got to show in your portfolio. And be consistent. Don't have a baby and a girl on a thong right beside it. Be one thing. And get better at your craft. We can always get better. Now, when you can't get better because your gear doesn't let you, that's when you should change. For example, I notice an increase in quality when I upgraded my lights more than when I changed my camera. Incredible. When I went from the little flashes that, the flashes that go on top of the camera, that's how I started. I put it on a light stand and those flashes, they're weak, but you play with the ISO and you make it work.
Right.
But when you start getting good lighting, you invest. That's another thing I did. I invested in my equipment. Every year I had to upgrade something, my camera or my lighting. And I went until I got to the light, to good lights. And you see the difference. That's when you see the difference. But then again, you got to know how to use it. It doesn't matter what you have if you don't know how to use it. Yeah. And be passionate, man. This thing, you got to be passionate. You can't do it. The day that I feel I'm doing a job, like, oh, shit, I got to go do this thing. That day I'm going to look for something else to do. Because this is the reason why I've been doing photography. I've never felt like I'm on vacation all the time. Even though I get tired, I get, shit happens, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Sometimes things are not going too good. My mind is never saying, oh, shit, maybe I should start doing real estate. Or I should put a food thing. No, I'm like, let me sit down, do a new strategy because times change. You got to change with the times. And if you're a fitness photographer, shoot people that are in shape. Don't try to do magic with somebody that's not in shape.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. Now, people think it's the worst time to be a photographer. It is the best time to be a photographer.
Why is that?
We're living in an era that content is needed. Not like before. Everybody needs content now. So you just got to look around where you're at. People are needing your work. You just got to stay consistent. Yeah. People need to see consistency. They cannot see a good one and a bad one, because that means when I take my photo with this guy, one is gonna be good and another one's gonna be not so good. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah. I think consistency overcomes almost anything.
Yes.
Action.
Yes. Listen, in everything, even at the range, if you shoot but you're consistent to the right, it's easier to adjust, you know? But if you're trying to adjust every time, boom, bing, boom, bang, the grouping is all over the place. So when I used to do my mistakes, it was always in the same manner. You know, I wasn't changing one thing every time that I didn't know what was wrong. You got to do the same thing so you can know what is it that you can make better. But if you try to and mimic this guy and go with this guy, do your thing.
Okay.
At the beginning, people would say, I like your style. I didn't even know I had a style until I noticed that there's certain things I do the same. There's certain things, like now I recognize my photo because the lighting that I use is always the same. And, you know, everybody's going to develop. I've tried to shoot with one light. Oh, let me do something different. One light, the bar, two lights. Bro, I can't. That's not my photo. I just know I like it the way I do it.
Yeah.
And you're going to find people that like your work. That's it. You know, don't be mad because this person likes this other guy. I mean, that's the way it goes. I tell my clients, dude, go shoot with a lot of people. You don't have to. It's a bad thing to stay married with this other stuff there. There's other things that you will discover. That makes me grow too.
Yeah.
And I get new people that want to, you know, I get a lot of people from South America, bro.
Yeah.
Oof. I get Colombia a lot. I get Brazil a lot.
So you may have to go to Brazil and check it out.
Yeah. But the problem with Brazil and South America right now is that the difference in dollars.
It's tough.
Bro, when I told a lady from Argentina, $800. She's like, what? Is that in dollars or pesos? I was like, yo, that's dollars. She's like, are you? But I didn't realize it's like
the exchange, no?
Bro, it's like 3 months salary.
Yeah.
That's why I came from Dominican Republic. Yeah. Dominican Republic, the minimum salary is like $200 a month.
Yeah, I think in Colombia it's something this similar.
Yeah. So how the hell? So, you know, only certain people could be like, oh, okay, $800, I'll pay it.
Yeah, but even only certain people here in the States.
But I started, but for example, of course, even here, but I started charging $100, charging $200, charging $300, charging $400. You know, I didn't just pick it. Yeah. But now there's like I got to do the math. Like, is it worth it? Of course. Is it worth it going over there and charging this much? How many do I have to do?
It's a numbers game at the end of the day, and it's time. You can't get time back.
Man.
You know?
All this thing is beautiful. If I was filthy rich, I'll be touring for free and doing shit because I'm passionate. But it's expensive.
Yeah. The
gear is expensive. The trips are expensive. And you are delivering, you know, it's your image. You know what I'm saying? It was probably your first Olympia or your only Olympia. You know, do an effort and get the best that you can.
I agree, man. Suraka, thank you so much, man. I appreciate your wisdom, your experience, and being open with your life, man. So
thank you,
brother. Me, man. I appreciate it, man.
Love what you're doing. I've been listening to your podcast, man, and I was surprised when you called me.
Actually not, man. You shouldn't be surprised because you were in
well, you know, I was like, when I saw Angel, I'm like, am I next?
Thank you for coming, bro.
It's getting close. It's getting close.
All day, every day, Empire is the way.